whenever I could, blew, continued. Whatever money I made, I just kept running my accounts. Get out my journal, I'd write down affirmations for the day, say them out loud. All this outside stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's more the work that you're putting in with yourself.
What's up guys, I'm Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa and I'm here with Kyra Peters.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. I've been waiting to do this for a minute, actually for quite a while actually, because I remember you popped up on our radar a while back. I was like, oh, this girl, checked out your stuff. I was like, interesting. Got to see it then, obviously, you know, we're sitting here today and all that. So thank you for agreeing for us to sit down.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm gonna just get off the bat. So you recently did a video by Trader's Room against the millionaire. And it turns out you are the millionaire right there, right?
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Well, I was like, it's very interesting though. So I'm not just sitting with just the wannabe trader, right?
No, I'm actually making bag, like I'm actually grinding.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm putting in the work.
Yeah, I was actually going through your stuff while I was preparing for this interview. I was like, wow, some very impressive stuff, like extremely impressive stuff.
Thank you.
What I'm really hoping for is that people are going to watch this also and like grab whatever knowledge you have to drop for them. But before we get to the knowledge dropping part, I think we also want to know your story before we get anywhere else, because if you're a millionaire now, obviously you started somewhere and all that, and obviously we need to know your story, where you come from and all that. So where you from originally?
Okay, I've always lived in Johannesburg, grew up in Johannesburg, was born in Durban, moved here when I was like 2. Grew up in the East like my entire life. From the East, yeah. Bixfield.
Really? I'm also from the East.
Really?
Yeah.
When the East?
But Convo City side.
Okay, I'm not too familiar with that side, but yeah. The East. Then when it came to high school, I moved to the West. So that's why I'm like very common around the side. I went to a good primary school, a good high school. Was very academically gifted. They obviously expected me to go and study after school, but I didn't do that. I disappointed them a little bit with that, but and then I'm a low-key person. Like there's not much going on in my life. I've always just been like to myself. Always had goals that I wanted to achieve. Always been goal-driven. Actually wanted to study mechanical engineering because I've always had a passion for physics and machines and how things work, and I'm a big car fanatic, so I wanted to study mechanical engineering. And then in high school things just shifted a bit, and here I am sitting with you.
But where did the shift happen though? The shift.
Definitely in grade 10, grade 10, grade 11, like when we were doing subject, like after I chose my subjects, I actually have regrets with the subjects that I took. I wish I took like the business package, because what I took is not aiding me in what I'm doing right now. So I started reading. I've always been a bookworm. I started reading a lot of business books, a lot of personal development books, and decided that I did not want to go study anymore. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to study. I didn't know at the time that I wanted to trade. But eventually down the line, that's the thing that, like, I was always looking for loopholes, and trading was like that one thing. I'm like, yes,
so
this
true,
one,
so true.
This is gonna help me to do A, B, and C. So instead of studying, obviously it's like mechanical engineering is like one of the highest paying professions in the world. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to also study it. But then I figured that if I could trade, I could earn way more than what a mechanical engineer is earning in a month or a year. You know, I wouldn't have to go through all of those trials and tribulations, those steps, studying, still like looking for a job, working for a job that's got nothing to do with what I studied until I can get to what I want to study, until I can eventually earn the amount that I was looking to earn. So trading trading came at the right time.
Yeah.
And that's what I decided to go with.
What was the right time?
What
was that right time when trading came?
I started learning about trading in high school, like around matric, also very late.
When was it? Which year was it?
2018.
2018. Okay.
2018.
Okay.
So throughout 2018, we were onto this trading thing. We were looking at a couple of people online. You know how these big top traders are. They post their lifestyle, and you become hooked by that. So I wanted to know, how is it that they're able to do all of this at a young age? How is it that they are self-sufficient? How is it that they are succeeding in this and still using that to aid whatever it is that they actually want to do? So my friend and I would speak a lot about it, but because of the subjects that we were doing, it didn't allow us to actually put time in for trading. I remember a couple of times we were supposed to be going for classes on the weekend, which we didn't attend because we needed to attend maths lessons. There was never a right time. So I'm like, okay, this is something I want to do, but I'm going to get to it like once I'm done. Let me just finish writing. Even when I was done writing, I actually ended up rewriting certain subjects the following year, like my core subjects. And once I was done with that, I wasn't rewriting just to get higher grades for any tuition or anything like that because I had intentions of studying. No, I wanted to show that, I got A's. Like, I wanted straight A's for no apparent reason. Not that I'm going to be using that certificate anyway now or anything like that. But I wanted to say to myself, just push a bit harder. You have like the second shot. Push harder. Once you're done, start with trading. So supplementary exams ended around June, July. I started reading into trading around September. I actually started with the Trading Bible. The Trading Bible. That's where I started.
Hi, my name is Damien Bunce and I'm the Chief Trading Officer at XNES. I want to talk to you about some of the advancements we've made in our product and our services that have propelled us to the #1 position as a broker in terms of volume and active traders. We strive to create the optimal marketplace for our clients, and that means deep and rich liquidity. It means low and stable spreads at any time of the day or night. It also means minimizing slippage at all possible moments in time. By the end of 2022, we plan to double our investment in our infrastructure, our people, and our product line in order to keep us exceptionally competitive and continue to add fantastic advancements for our clients. Reaching the #1 position was just the first step for us. There is plenty more to come.
Then after that, I was very inconsistent. So I can't actually say that I've been trading for like 3-4 years or since 2019 because things were very inconsistent. Circumstances got in the way. I actually thought I was going to give up many times, but I continued. Thinking back, it's crazy that I'm sitting here right now. Like, I can't believe it. Like looking back, I knew that I wanted to be at a certain space, but the timing and the environment didn't allow. Your environment is very important when you do want to start trading, and if you're going to succeed in it, your environment is the main thing that needs to be good, right? So because of that, I took a break. I was in and out. I got my first job. When did I get my first job? I've worked like 2 jobs. Nothing hectic, just like retail and sales. My first job was a sales consultant at the gym company. This was in 2019, that same year. No, 2020. So I was there for like 8 months. Even while I was there, I was just like learning communication skills, learning how to deal with people, because obviously I wanted to be in the business industry, and they say like sales is the best place to start. So that's what I did. Obviously the money that I was making, I kept funding my account, kept blowing, but it didn't stop me.
But before you get there, so you're working right now, you're learning how to trade.
Not learning, just applying, just funding, not even learning. Like I'd read and just apply whatever I was learning. So stopped like learning for a while and just wanted to apply whatever I knew, because they say if you bombard yourself with too much information, it can take you longer to reach that goal. So I just applied whatever I already knew here and there whenever I could, continued. Whatever money I made, I just kept funding my accounts.
So do you remember that first deposit you made?
I've made so many deposits. It's not like it was one big deposit. I was trying to grow like small accounts.
Okay.
So I think my first Xness, I know they have that bonus as well as SM. So I decided that, okay, let me first see if I can flip this money and withdraw it. If so, then I can fund a bit more. So I think it was like 30 USD. Did it go far? No. I can't show you where it is right now, but yeah. My actual first like deposit that let's say I saved up for was maybe, couldn't have been more than a K. Couldn't have been more than a K,
Okay, now so obviously you're working right now, all you're doing, you're working, you're funding accounts, you're losing that money. So when do things actually like change and switch up though?
Okay, things actually started changing last year.
Okay.
So last year I decided that I was going to be consistent. I know that they say that the key to successful trading is consistency, so I wanted to do that. I mean, I had everything else, but the consistency. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna sit down, make a trading plan, and follow these rules consistently and see where it takes me. So that was like around March, April. I made that promise to myself. I started taking my spirituality seriously. I started taking my health seriously. Everything just started falling into place, and I said, like, even if I continue to blow, even if I fail at this, at least like somewhere down the line I can see that I've made progression, and all I really wanted was the consistency. Because before, like I said, I was in and out here and there, not making any huge profits, any huge withdrawals, you know. And then you see other people posting and you're like, I want that too. You know, you see your friends buying cars, buying properties, and you're like, I want that too. So yeah, I just started grinding hard. So from last year, March, April, I've been consistent. So I've actually been consistently trading for like a year. A year.
So consistently trading, but the thing is, I want to know, like, getting to that point of consistency though. Like,
What did it take?
What was required? What was things that changed in your daily routine?
Daily routine. Wow. Okay, that's important. So I started. Okay, I kept hearing about this manifestations thing, this affirmations thing, and I come from a very religious household, very conservative Christian household, so these things were like forbidden. But I'm like, okay, I'm reading these books and this is what they keep speaking about, surely it must be working. And people that I looked up to were also like applying those concepts in their life, and then I saw it work out for them, so I'm like, okay, I have nothing to lose, let me just start applying this. So I'd sit with my visions. I had a hard time achieving my goals. I used to procrastinate a lot. So I'm like, okay, every morning when I wake up, this is what I'm gonna do. So I'd wake up, I'd go outside, get fresh air. You know, oxygen is good for the brain. It's good to start your morning with like fresh air. So yeah, I'd go outside, I'd look around, and I'd say to myself, okay, months from now, I don't wanna be sitting in this situation. I ended up in so many situations.
Okay.
Yeah, I told myself I don't want to end up in this situation. This is what I want by then. And so I'd get out my journal. I'd write down affirmations for the day, say them out loud. After that, I'd meditate for about 5 minutes. I was still a newbie. 5 to 10 minutes, I'd time myself. After that, do a bit of yoga and get started with the rest of my day. And whatever I needed to achieve for the day, I made sure I wrote it down. And when I was done with that, I tick it off. It made such a difference in my productivity, because I didn't feel like crap at the end of the day, knowing that I didn't achieve this, and this. Oh my God, I forgot to do this and this. I made sure that I ticked off everything that was on that list for the day, and I did this every single day. And we're sitting here right now, and yeah, this is something that I wrote down on a piece of paper. So it started back then. Since then, I've been consistent in just writing to myself, talking to myself about my thoughts, about my emotions. You know, if you're going to be doing a lot of self-development, you have to get in touch with yourself. How are you feeling when this and this happens? You need to constantly check in with yourself and make notes, write to yourself. It's good to write to yourself, because now when I look back at the stuff that I wrote in that book, I can see that I've come a long way. I look at that and I'm like, wow, this was 21-year-old me. You and I'm really proud that I was able to just consistently do that. That definitely made a huge difference in my life.
Very big difference.
Yes, very big.
Because I think obviously it kind of reflects in your trading as well, how you live your life, correct? Right?
It does.
It really does. People think that you can just do as you please, come to the charts, and then you consistently make money. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. That's correct, right?
Yes, and that's what I thought. That's what I had to learn, that it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's not just a walk in the park. You don't just wake up and boom, go place a trade. There's preparation that goes into it, and it's not just preparation in terms of the charts or the markets. It's preparation in terms of yourself, your mental health, your physical health. Like it's all in you. It's got nothing to do with all this outside stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's more the work that you're putting in with yourself that counts.
Okay, cool. So obviously you said at some point that the plan was for you to go study and all that, but obviously you decided to take a different path along the way. How does the family receive all that news and all that?
All the noise.
Yeah.
They're still adjusting. Okay. I'm a very quiet person. Like when I decided that I was going to take this journey, it required me to get rid of a lot of people, even if it meant that they were family. So there's a lot of family members that I don't actually keep in touch with, but like the close ones, they're starting to see that, okay, this thing is working out. Yeah, they're asking questions. They want me to help them. I'm like, okay. Back then it was a different story, but okay, they're seeing that there is potential in this, even for themselves. My siblings are loving it. I mean, they ask for something and they just get it. So, it's great.
Yeah. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you actually made when you were starting out?
I'd say surrounding myself with people who don't view things the same way that I do. If I could go back, I would have distanced myself a lot sooner from certain people, and I would have maybe spent more time with other people who I knew could actually help me to get to my destination a lot quicker. Because when you are around people who, like, okay, it's cool, like it's cool to chill around people and we all do different things. We get to learn from each other. Okay, you do this, I do that. But most of the time, if there's like no mental connection, or if there's no like goals, you'll find that you guys drift apart. You'll find that there's unnecessary issues that arise. You'll find that jealousy comes about. Like there's just a lot of problems. So I'd say definitely not staying with the right people. There's a lot of people that I should have kept in touch with more. Obviously now I do that. I make sure I go out a bit more. I interact with people from my past. But another thing I'd say, not having a trading plan. It's as simple as that, not having a trading plan.
It really is that simple.
People can come to me and say, Kyra, I'm struggling with this, and this. I'm like, okay, where's your trading plan? Do you have a trading plan? No. Stories. Have a trading plan and you'll see that a lot of your problems will fall away.
But I think when it comes to the trading plan chats, I think, and what a lot of people really, it's because of how tedious it is to put it together and all that, So what would you say is, like, let's say 3 things that people should focus on first when it comes to building a trading plan?
Entries, exits, and the pair. Like, okay, so each pair that you trade has a different personality, and people think that they can just go into the markets and just trade anything, and it doesn't really work like that. Like, I see people forcing to trade certain pairs and it's not working out for them, and they end up being discouraged and they're like, okay, this is not for me. But no, did you try something else? Did you actually go and back test and spend time with the pair that suits your personality? Because a part of trading is not just trading any instrument. Like, you have to have a relationship with that pair, and you can only do that if you've actually spent time back testing, forward testing, and all of that stuff. So definitely I'd say no, okay, we're gonna have to, because I'm getting lost here. Okay. For me personally, my three essential things that I keep in my trading plan would be sessions. Know the session that you're trading. Different pairs are going to behave differently in different sessions. So know which session that you're trading. Each pair is going to react differently in each session. So but you'll only figure this out through watching the charts. Just sit down, just watch the charts, see how your pair behaves in each session, and you'll know which one is more beneficial for you. So sessions, number one. Number two, I'd say your entry. Okay, and many people don't worry too much about entries, but if you've seen my charts, you can see that I focus a lot on entries. It's important that you're entering or buying or selling an instrument at a price that's gonna eventually bring you a profit. It goes back to sales. Like if I'm selling something to you, you're obviously gonna want to buy it at a cheaper price. You're not gonna want to buy it from me if it's expensive. So the same concept applies in trading. We're buying and selling instruments to each other. Banks, institutions buy and sell trades that they took the previous day. There can't be a buyer without there being a seller. So yeah. Okay. Number three, I'd say your exits. Okay, so session, entry, and exits. Your exit is very important. It's probably more important than your entry, because you need to know where the market's going. You need to have a target in mind, and that can only work if you know or have a risk to reward ratio, right? It's how much I'm risking versus how much I actually want to gain from this. So if you know that you're risking this amount and you want to gain a certain amount, where is that certain amount? Where are you exiting this trade? When will you be satisfied with the reward of your trade? You need to know where you're exiting. You can't just be exiting anywhere. Sometimes, okay, I've learned my lesson, but a lot of the time this would happen. I wouldn't know where I was exiting. I'd enter a trade confident that, okay, maybe the pair I'm trading is gonna buy, so I buy the pair. But now I'm holding and holding. I don't know when is the right time to get out. You're lost, right? And you end up taking an L. Because first of all, you also didn't have a target. So now you don't know where you're supposed to get out. You need to get out at a certain place because other people are getting in. On every single candlestick, at every single point on the chart, there's traders who are getting in and there's traders who are getting out. Now you need to decide, are you getting out at a time where other traders are getting in, because that's going to affect the market as well. You're going to have a bit of a drawback. So entries, exits, and sessions, very important.
But you speak about a risk-reward ratio and everything like that. But I think, how do you determine your exits at some point? Is it based on the dollar value of like, okay, now I'm going to come out of this, or is it based on what's happening on the chart and as well, or like how do you decide that?
Okay, I use price action. I'm more of a technical trader. So how do I determine my exits or my reward? Okay, with the strategy that I'm using now, or let's say as I've progressed and the strategy that I've compiled myself, it allows me to get in and have like zero risk and as much reward as possible, which is why you'll see that I don't trade with stop losses. I don't trade with take profits. I enter and I'm confident that the market is going to go a certain way, and the market won't have a drawback. It won't take me out. If it does, as soon as I've entered my trade, I lock my profits. I put my stop loss in and I go for swing highs and swing lows. So I'm mainly trading on like higher time frames, but I enter on lower time frames. So I'm targeting highs or lows on like the daily or the weekly. So that allows me to swing for longer.
Okay, now that's cool. So how do you get to a point of like trusting yourself, especially on the charts though? Because like you're a beast. I've seen your trades as well. Like I was going through your stuff. You're quite a beast. I won't lie though on the charts though. But like, how do you get to that point of actually trusting yourself though?
Self-trust in trading comes from backtesting. Backtesting and having a trading plan. So now if you're spending time with a certain pair, you begin to learn how it moves, when's the best time to trade it. You also become confident knowing how much you'll actually risk on each setup, because you've seen the same thing play over and over again on this chart. So confidence can only be made through backtesting and spending time with the pair, taking L's, figuring out why was that an L. You need to go back and check. Many people take L's and then just get back in, which is a problem. If you're taking L's, you need to go back and review, why did I take an L? Okay, why did this happen? You have to ask yourself these questions. It's like going to school. After you're done writing a test, you're gonna have to do corrections. You need to figure out where you went wrong, so that you know in future when the same opportunity or question presents itself, you're gonna act differently, and this time you're gonna get it right. So yeah, spend as much time just watching the charts. You don't have to trade. People think that they need to be trading every single setup. You don't. You need to sit down on your hands and you need to watch what's happening.
Yeah.
Just watch.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah.
Well said. So what sacrifices did you have to make along the way? Because obviously you're not just here
Sacrifices.
without making any sacrifice. Or if you didn't make any sacrifices, give us that recipe as well for life.
Sacrifices.
Yeah.
I've sacrificed relationships. I've sacrificed jobs.
Okay.
There's been times where my most recent job, it was in retail. But I used to sit there and I used to say to myself, I'm able to make way more on my phone right now.
Okay.
Doing this. Why am I here? Why am I spending my time here? To me, initially I thought it would be like another stream, or at least I'm keeping myself busy, because to sit in front of the charts all day, it gets in your head. It does do your head in. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be doing something else with my time. But when I was there, it was like, I'm wasting my time being here because I'm able to make way more from doing this on my phone. And so having to explain this to my family was a bit difficult, because they didn't understand why is it that I'm choosing this one thing that doesn't guarantee money at the end of the month, right? Whereas I could have a job and each month, at the end of each month, I know that I'm getting a certain amount. But for me, that wasn't working. So I'd say I've sacrificed a lot of jobs. I've just left. Like, people don't hear from me after a while. I just don't go because I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just disappear. So I've sacrificed a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
I've sacrificed a lot of relationships. It's painful when it's like people close to you, but if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. They'll understand at a later stage when they see what you've built in that time, you know. So yeah, jobs and relationships.
Basically. Like I said earlier on, you're a beast on the charts. I've actually seen but your targets are actually boggling a bit, because like you really go in though.
I go in.
But like, what allows you though to put yourself in a position of like, not, because so many times we limit ourselves because like, essentially like, okay, let's say for instance I'm trading 10,000 rand. I will only limit myself up to saying, okay, I can only make 20,000 rand from 10,000 rand. But you go right beyond that.
Oh, with my account flips?
Yeah, you really do. Just like, you do that. So what do you think has allowed you to be in a position where you're like, no, I'm not going to limit myself when it comes to grabbing profits? Because I think that's probably one of the hardest things, especially for a lot of people out there, is like you said earlier on, deciding on when to exit and all that. But like the profits part is like, how much profits should I be taking? How do I limit myself in this position, or what?
Okay, everybody should have a target. You shouldn't be trading unless you have a target.
Yeah.
But with my trades, a lot of my inspiration comes from other traders who are not really well known, but they're actually like working hard. So I've taken a few key concepts from what they do and I've applied it in my situation. So I've seen that you don't need to go and fund a big account in order to make big money. You literally can fund any small amount, and as long as your setup is proper, you'll make the money. So that's where my account flips come in. I know that I can fund a small amount, and sometimes I do over leverage my accounts. But that's because I'm like certain that it's gonna go in a certain direction, and I make sure I get the full reward of that trade, no matter what amount I'm going in with. So most of the time, it's not even like I know that if I fund 1K, it's gonna give me 50K by the end of the week. I'm just going in with it. I'm following where the market's taking me, and yeah, my targets right now are a lot higher than what they were back then.
Of course.
Obviously because I've spent a lot more time doing the same thing every single day, but like I look for high reward setups. And you don't need need a lot.
You don't need a lot. That is true. I think that's the beauty about Forex or trading just in general. That you really don't need a lot. But I want to talk about money management right now because I feel like that's like the key point. The reason why I want to touch on that is because obviously it's out there that you've got a couple M's there chilling.
They're lying.
It's out there, or you've been exposed, or something like that. No, but like why I'm asking this is because what I've noticed is that more money coming in, your expenses get bigger, things like that. You start spending more unnecessarily, so and all that. But obviously, as you accumulate wealth in the process of accumulating wealth, like what are like the 3 key principles that you've like had to say to yourself that, hey, look, as much as I've got money to spend right now, like what kind of money management principles do you live by per se?
Okay, so every week
Yeah.
I give myself a budget.
Okay.
Because I know I'm going to get out the house. I know when I want to spend. Like, I have a problem. I go out and I feel like I need to buy something wherever I am, and that's an issue. So that's still something that I'm working on. But I give myself a budget. So in terms of my accounts, I don't keep all my funds in one account. I obviously split it up. And the main one that I use, I'm transferring money into there, the exact amount that I need for that specific thing. And when it's done, it's done. I don't want to make excuses. I don't want to go back and transfer more. When it's done, it's done. I've given myself a budget, and I stick to my budget. So yeah, having several accounts has helped with that. Putting my money in different places also has helped with that, because right now, if like let's say for example I've put money into a 32-day account, I can't go and withdraw it immediately. There's like a pause on there that's saying no. So I know that with wherever I've put my money, I won't be able to get it right now. I'm gonna have to go through some trouble, and I don't want to go through all of that. So it's better that I just make whatever I have now and put it away, and use whatever I have now, stick to the small budget. This is what makes people go broke when they have money. They don't live below their means. You need to continually live below your means, no matter how much your salary increases or your bank balance increases. You need to live below your means. And that's the key to attaining wealth. It's not how much you make, it's how much you're actually putting away.
Yeah.
So remembering that is actually what helps me save. Another thing, the third thing, when I really want to buy something, I ask myself, do I really need this?
Okay.
So I'll spend time going across the entire store, putting things into this basket, and by the time it's time to make my way to the queue, I'm like, okay, do I really need this? No, I don't. So put it down. I do that with everything. Because you'll find that you actually don't need majority of the things that you want to buy. You're wishing for this, you want this, but you don't need it. Put it away, and you'll thank yourself later at a later stage.
That's true. So true. So you literally just spoke about the people who've like influenced you along the way, or you look up to. I'm not sure how you put it, but like who's influenced your trading the most to this point?
Initially, the person who inspired me to actually start trading was Lesiba Stees. He's super humble, doesn't come from much, but has made such a name for himself just by putting in the work, right? So definitely him. He was at the back of my mind when I was blowing accounts, taking L's. I learned a lot from him as well. Obviously, my trading style has changed over the past year or two. But yeah, him. And in the most recent, let's say, month, I'd definitely say Bobby Seiko. He inspires me a lot. And the North God.
Okay.
I don't know if you know both of them.
I know Bobby. Yeah, I know Bobby, but not the North God though.
Yeah, very low-key traders. So most of the time I don't like to... Okay, there's a lot of big people who obviously inspired us little traders, right? So like true. Jason Noah, he also inspired me. I loved his story. It used to be the one thing that I used to tell to people when I needed them to believe that this thing is going to work for me, But yeah, like really low-key people. There's a lot of people who people don't know about but are actually grinding and putting in the work. So a lot of the time I'm watching traders who who aren't really flexing much, but showing a lot of chart flex, not lifestyle flex, but chart flex. Like your real flex is in your skill, not in how much or what you're wearing or how much you're flexing and stuff like that. So yeah, those two, Bobby Seiko and the North Guard, definitely, yeah, they inspire me.
Yeah, that's great. So you spoke about affirmations earlier on, though. But what I've really realized when I was preparing for this interview was that wealth affirmations are very important to you. Why are they so important to you?
Why are they so important to me? Okay, so throughout my personal development journey, I've realized that there's a difference between your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, right? And if I'm going to be able to make long-term changes to my behavior, I'm going to have to involve or make use of my conscious and subconscious mind a lot of the time, not just running on past programming, because that's what we actually do from day to day. We're running on past programming, right? It's very easy for me to, once I'm done with this, just throw it down, because maybe that's a habit, right? But in order for me to stop doing that, there are internal things that I need, or internal processes that I need to go through before I can decide, okay, let me not do that. That's actually a very dirty habit. Let's stop that. But it's not as easy as just telling yourself that. So you have to, okay, if you repeat the same thing to yourself time and time again, eventually it is going to sink in, it is going to become a reality. But the part that gets it for me is the fact that from the time we're young, like maybe 0 to 7 years, they say that those are the most important years of a person's development, because you're prone to a lot of conditioning around you. You're taking in new information all the time. Whatever you learn in those 7 years is what you're going to continuously project onto the world. You're going to go around having these ideas about the world because that's what was told to you, right? Now, for people who didn't come from a background where they were encouraged a lot, or like had serious conversations about wealth and stuff like that, it's more difficult to get to where you want to be, because your internal programming is that, okay, probably I'm not worthy. The rich steal from the poor. Only the rich can drive those cars. Only, like, it's a lot of self-defeating talk that runs in the background that you don't actually realize is playing until you're actually encountering things like in your day-to-day life, trying to figure out, why did I say that? Why did I do that? It's because of this belief that got planted in my head like years back. So now, in order to eradicate that, it's important for you to do the exact same thing. Yes, okay, maybe when you grew up, you were told every single day, okay, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. You grew up believing that you're fat. You may be skinny right now or anorexic, but at the back of your head, you've got like an eating disorder. Because every time you eat this, it's gonna send a message to your brain telling you that you're fat. Now, in order to change that around, you change your internal voice, right? You change the way you speak to yourself. So in terms of affirmations, it's really important for me, because I know that if I can repeat the same thing to myself 1,000 times, it's eventually going to become my reality. It's eventually going to become second nature. And that's exactly what's happened. Like, I used to be a very pessimistic person, very moody, very angry, very angry individual. But after doing a lot of affirmations, after doing a lot of inner work, I can see the difference. Like, if I'm sitting with somebody and we're speaking, I can easily tell where they are in their mind or their mindset, or in terms of how they feel about themselves based on what they're saying. A lot of the time, people will out themselves or out how they feel about themselves just by the things that they say or the decisions that they make. So yeah, a lot of my decisions these days, a lot of my empowering words that I share all the time come from me telling that to myself. It all starts with yourself, you know. If you're going to be able to, or if you're going to want to change the world or impact other people, you first have to start with yourself. You first have to impact yourself. So affirmations are very important. I start my day off with affirmations, and yeah, I feel good for the rest of the day. You need to start your day off with good intentions, high vibrations. You need to wake, like, people don't realize that they control the way their day goes. If you wake up feeling like, oh my word, today's just another rubbish ass day. It's gonna be a rubbish ass day, is it not? Every single thing that happens in that day, it's gonna be a thing of, you see, I knew it's gonna be a bad day. But now if you change the way you speak and change the way you think, you can literally decide how your whole day is going to go. No matter what happens, someone could bump your car, and that might make you really angry, and you might be like, oh my word, nothing ever goes my way. Then nothing's ever going to go your way. But that was like 2 minutes of your entire day. You've got 24 hours in a day. You're going to let those 2 minutes ruin your whole day? It doesn't work like that. So constantly speaking good words to yourself, constantly speaking good things to other people, constantly seeing the good in yourself, the good in others, it goes a long way.
Yeah, that's beautiful stuff. Well said. Yeah, so I need to ask, how often do you check on your trades?
Okay, my best trades are the ones that I don't check.
Oh, that you don't check on?
The ones that I just forget about.
So when you've got like a really hot trade going, you just don't know what's happening. But when it's not a hot trade, you constantly checking up on it.
I know that's bad. I try not to be OCD in that way with my trades, because then I'm going to see things that I wasn't seeing before, and then I'm going to act on my current emotions. So no. When I place a trade, I just go and distract myself with something. Come back a couple hours later, I'm smiling. Because if you're actually watching every single movement that's happening, your bias is going to change, and then you're going to react to that. But you've already placed your trade, you need to leave it. You've already done what you needed to do. So yeah, my best trades are ones that I just forget about. I don't like to obsess over charts and keep checking them. No. It's a bad habit.
That is good though, that is good. What do you trade the most?
Indices.
Okay, cool. So can you just give us like 3 best practices, especially when trading indices?
I'd say, okay, back to sessions. Know which session that you're trading, right? Also, have a really good broker. You need a broker with like really low spreads or no spread at all, because of how volatile indices are and because of the session that you're going to be trading them in. So sessions, have a good broker, and be patient. They can pay you a lot if you're patient. They may be very volatile and it may affect your mood, but that's just price action. That's just how things are. It happens on every single chart. So be patient, just let your analysis play out, and you'll be game. You'll be Gucci.
Beautiful. So what's your biggest loss that you've taken? It doesn't have to be dollar value, but it can also be like just that loss where you felt like, hey, I really lost here.
Recently, I think it was last month or the month before that, I flipped an account. It must have been like 300 Rand. I flipped it to like 50K in a couple of, I think it was like 2 weeks or something. And like the very next day, I just blew it all. I just blew it all. So I was very underwhelmed. Why?
Okay, what happened, brother?
I was too invested in the setup.
Oh, okay.
I was too invested in seeing my own thing instead of reacting to what the market was actually showing me. So I over-leveraged that account and it went. I didn't reach my target. My target for that week was actually like 100K. I mean, I pushed to 50. Whenever I have a certain amount in my account, my goal is to double that amount. So yeah, I had 50K. My goal is to make 100K by the end of the week, withdraw.
But from 300 though.
From 300, yeah. So the reason for these small amounts is to show people that you don't need thousands to make money. Just fund whatever you have, because it's very easy to make excuses and say, quick, like right now I may have like 500 Rand, but I'm saying that I'll only fund my account when I've got 1.5. Why? I can fund this right now, flip it to 1.5, and then I've got the 1.5. People hold themselves back by waiting to fund the account with certain amounts. Like, or they just make excuses. Stop making excuses. You can literally fund your account with 20 Rand, grow that. Like, people do this all the time.
Yeah.
If you have the skill, you can flip any amount. So that's why I try to work with like small amounts, because I try to show people that, look, just get your side hustle, just put the small money aside and
it's very
push it.
possible.
Apply your skill and you can take percentage growth.
Yeah.
Percentage growth is very important. It's not about flipping accounts or anything like that. It's about seeing how far you can actually take a certain amount. And by doing that, you're slowly compounding your account. Small growth over a long period of time. The goal is not to flip that 300 Rand overnight. The goal is to slowly build it and say by the end of the month, hey, look, this is what I got, from this small amount. That's a good investment to me.
I think if people would want to take 300 and then within one day make it into
30. I hope 30K. Yeah, and that's unrealistic.
Yeah.
Okay, like sometimes you might see us do that, but that's just based on the setup. It's not an everyday thing, and it's not an all the time thing.
Yeah, but it happens though. It's one of those things. And your craziest, most memorable trade?
Last year in, was it November, December, I was trading synthetic indices. Okay, I trade synthetic indices and indices, right? Obviously in December the market does its own thing, so I didn't want to be trading any instruments that were affected by fundamentals, news, anything like that. So I was trading mostly synthetics, and I took a trade on VIX 75. It was a buy. I don't know, is this even in my highlights? But I took a trade on VIX 75. I swung. I kept scaling in and pushed that account to like 1 mil. And it was my first time ever having like 1 mil floating, right? Usually I can save up and just put it away and then okay. But it was my first time ever holding 1 mil like live, but obviously that was in dollars. So it must have been like 70K or something in USD. I was super proud of myself, because at the same time, in December you're spending a lot of time with family. They want to know what you're doing. They want to know why you still aren't working. When are you gonna decide to go study and stuff like that. So I was dealing with a lot of those comments, but at the same time I just stayed focused and proved to myself that I can do it. That was really impressive. I was really impressed with myself.
So for you to get how much was the account size?
How much was the account size? Okay, so I usually don't fund like a lot. I usually grow a certain amount to a certain amount, then like flip it. So I must have only funded like 1,000 ZAR.
1,000 ZAR.
Probably 1,000 ZAR. But I was growing this account over a period of like a month. So slow progress, just adding in more positions as price was progressing. When I see a setup, I make sure I go hard. I didn't know that I'd make that amount, but through holding, I really held. Through holding, through scaling in at the correct prices, correct entries. I did it. So that's like one of my best trades, VIX 75.
Sure.
VIX 75 can really push your account up.
That's true. Impressive. Sure. I've really enjoyed sitting down with you. I've learned so much from you right now, and I appreciate you just making time for us.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, give advice for people out there, right over there. Just the best advice you can give to people wanting to trade or get into this industry.
Okay. Something that's key to becoming a successful trader, I'd say stop focusing on what's happening around you. The main thing you need to be focusing on is what's happening inside of you. Like, it's very easy to say trading is 90% psychology and 10% skill, but literally, like, the way you spend your time, the way you think about yourself, about people around you, about the trades that you're taking, it all adds up to something. So most of the time you need to be spending your time with yourself. Stop worrying about what so-and-so is doing. Stop worrying about whether or not you're gonna match up. Like, there's a lot of false competition happening out here, and you don't need to be getting involved in that. You really just need to focus on yourself, focus on bettering yourself as a person, and everything will follow. Don't get distracted by the noise. It's not that's not your journey. Focus on your journey.
Okay, no, perfect. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Alright, no, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I'm sitting here with Kyra. I said it right?
Kyra.
I don't know, I've got Kyra in my head, but
It's not Kyra, guys, it's Kyra.
Anyway, guys, I'm sitting here with Kyra Peters. Thank you so much. Can I say multi-millionaire at the age of 22?
Future billionaire.
Future billionaire, right? Yeah. My name
Thank
is
you so much.
No, it's a pleasure. And my name is Nqobile Tembane from Top Trader South Africa, guys. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and be out.
Ooh, that went quick.